Rasuke here, salutations, subscribe, and I want to talk about the Bleeding Edge beta that I've been playing since yesterday. I probably put into about 12 to 15 hours with it, so I played it a lot. What you see here is the website and that sort of thing, and for the Xbox One, beta is still going on. I believe they're going to have another one as well. But first and foremost, I want to say I was very excited for this game because it was Ninja Theory, which I'm somewhat or quasi fan of. But the first thing I wanted to say is that at first I wasn't a fan of this artwork that you see here. I was like, okay. And I'm going to go down here to the media. Actually, let me go over here and take this little journey with me. And I know you see the tabs up here, and we will get to those. But yeah, let me get to the teaser trailer or the trailer release date. And I'm just going to play it like it is. I'm not going to blow it up or anything like that. But yeah, when we saw this, I was like, I don't know about this. You know, it is going with a lot of archetypes or stereotypes, however you want to say it, cliches. You know, you got the death metal guy, you got a graffiti ninja, which I guess is different. You got Zero Cool, which I guess is the millennial, technology boy, whatever. Interesting enough, for the strong guy, they've got an islander and things like that. You've got a senior citizen, elderly witch. And from here, I didn't know if this was comedy, because it doesn't invoke any kind of seriousness to me, right? With these characters, Buttercup, most of them are cyborg, you know, and this tone, so far doesn't thrill me. First, I want to clarify another thing. This is an action game. My mind was still kind of open minded because I'm seeing some things here. This is not any gameplay, but I was like, okay, it's a Overwatch kind of game. I guess they're going for. We'll see what happens, but these character designs to me did not look good. But I still was like, okay, let's see actual gameplay. Xbox One, Windows 10. All right. So then the E3 trailer came out, so let's go to that. And things kind of changed. I was like, okay, combat action, you're speaking my language. I love fighters are my number one genre. I love fighting games. So I like beat 'em up, I like hack and slash, I like action games where things are going on and it requires skill. I like skill more than stats. So when I saw this, I go, hey, this looks promising. So maybe the character design I can overlook if the gameplay is this phonetic. Makers of Heavenly Sword, Enslaved, Devil May Cry. Sounds good to me. And I'm seeing this and I'm like, okay, maybe even though these characters are kind of like cliche or genre specific, maybe I can get over that and go straight for gameplay. Seeing some interesting things here. Okay. Okay, visually, kind of reminds me of Dreamcast, kind of reminds me of Xbox 360 with the visual stunning of this, still not liking a lot of the character designs, and that's where it ends. When that trailer ends and this beta begins, that's the problem. So, first of all, let's talk about these fighters. All of these guys are available in the demo. Some of them say they're advanced. It is very Overwatch-esque. Some of them are damage dealers like this. Some are tanks. And some of them are healers. Those are the kind of the three. And you have a role to play. You stick with your team. The only ones that can really kind of do some damage by themselves are the tanks. I would even say the damage dealers are pretty squishy. But you have mods to modify that in your particular health or damage, or your abilities can change. It could go up from 5% to 10% on some of these characters, but after playing, like I said, 12 to 15 hours, I do not like a lot of these character designs and even their kits, how they fight, their movement, their animations. There's only one character I like, and that's Damon, and I barely even like him. I don't like the gas mask, urban ninja, graffiti paint all over you, looks a mess. It's very post-apocalyptic. Yes, I know, but it's just try hard. This is just such a try hard game. It's stupid, slapstickish, goofy. I say versus like me being like, why would I want to be this senior citizen, elderly, witch thing? I don't know. There's nothing compelling about her. She rides this ball thing. I don't know. That's not comparison. So mostly I tried out Damon, El Bastardo, and the death metal guy. And I did give Gizmo a try, but her turrets are terrible. Miko I did try, but she's too squishy. The healers can heal very fast, just like Overwatch, but I would say even worse. I guess that's why it's a beta and things like that. But overall, I wasn't having fun with any of these characters, not even Damon. I mean, I found him interesting, but let's see a little. Let's see, Yeah, let's. Oh, wow, I just realized he doesn't even have any legs. These are robotic feet, even. Okay, so a lot of cyborgs. I didn't realize that. So let's look at some of these images. These characters are just not that compelling, and even though you have, like I said, mods that can modify it, the gameplay of it, the what am I going to say? The style of it is not even that interesting, you know. Um, they are really really trying hard. These characters. She's the female Roadhog. I just wanted you to see that close. That's Roadhog if you've ever played it. And the one difference between this, even the map design is try hard. I have to say that. They look very Borderlands ish to me. A lot of these is that this is a melee fighter. There's only two characters that shoot. That's Gizmo and let's see, Gizmo. I guess the snake character kind of spits poison, and Zero Cool, and they can just track you down. Everybody else, you got to get in, and it just turns into a cluster of just mess. Everybody who has a weapon just swings it around like a baseball bat. No martial arts style, no kind of technique, no interesting moves. He's more of like a wrestler and does some kind of uppercut. This one has a staff, swings that around. He swings his axe, whatever. He just spins around with his knives. He has two knives. She swings her blades around, and it's just not that interesting. But there are people who are enjoying this game. They are really enjoying this game. But I thought the reason why I was so excited for Bleeding Edge is that I thought it could be a successor to this game. It's called Anarchy Reigns. It came out way back on the 360. I still own my 360 just to play this because I could play the entire game with AI and it's still incredibly fun, incredibly dynamic. And this is a melee based fighting game, but it's multiplayer as well. There's 16 characters. Believe it or not, this is done by Platinum Games, which is also has Bayonetta in it as well as DLC. And the biggest thing with this, with Bleeding Edge, is that this was role based, meaning, let me go back to the fighter so you can really understand this if you haven't played this. So if two characters are on you, no matter who you are, pretty much you're dead. Even the tanks are pretty much dead, especially with three. There's no way to stop that. You're dead. In Overwatch, that kind of happens too. The difference with Overwatch is that it's a first-person shooter first. You keep your distance. Here, pretty much everybody gets to close range, to grapple range, to do something. I mean, he's got to get in grapple range. He's got to get into grapple range. This chicken woman thing. This is another stupid slapstickish character to me. A chicken lady who does kicks. I think she's a Black Swan inspired. I just find this character stupid. I don't see anything compelling. Like I said, I think this game is supposed to be goofy and silly and post-apocalyptic and cybernetic, and you can change their parts or mods or what have you. But I just don't like the tone of it. Uh, Anarchy Reigns, on the other hand, is a little bit more dynamic. These characters are, to me, what I like in action games. Yeah, there are some silly ones, like Blacker Baron is a slapstick character, Oinky is as well. But most of the characters are pretty cool, pretty brutal, pretty dynamic. They have interesting things about it. So I just wanted to, the main character, if you remember Mad World from Nintendo, what was it? Switch? No, was he on the not Nintendo Switch? Obviously, that's the new one. But was that GameCube? I can't even remember where Mad World is from. Somebody will remind me, because I'm like, it wasn't the Wii. Was it GameCube? I believe it was GameCube. So he's from that, and the biggest thing I want to say where Bleeding Edge can copy, because they have these fighters, and like I said, no one has any projectiles, or if you do, it's a long cooldown. His shurikens are 13 seconds, then you can do it again, and I think you only get 3. And if you miss with the first 2, you have 1, and they only slow an opponent down. They don't even really do that much damage unless there's a mod to change that, you know. But on Anarchy Reigns, all those characters I showed you, you can kill everybody. It doesn't matter if they're big, small, whatever. You can kill those. And the reason why I wanted to show you this, how this works, is one thing right here. You can, of course, escape just like in Bleeding Edge. But the biggest thing is that you can guard. You can actually block attacks. You can block attacks. All attacks. Your guard can be eventually broken, but you can guard and evade. You have a rampage, which every character has. You can power up, and uh, you're very powerful. Plus, everybody has a super move that does incredible damage. I wanted to show you that right here. That yes, there's jump, light attack, guard, escape. You have the lock on. You have a 360 attack, which I wanted to say real quick, that Bleeding Edge is missing. This 360 attack is everybody around you and pushes everybody about like, if they don't do that, I definitely will not. I don't think they will. I think they're pretty much done. They just want to do some tweaking. But that pushes everybody away except your own teammates away from you, where you kind of reset combat and fight. That is an extremely dynamic and best way. You get in close. You could kill people with that 360 attack. And it's just a regular attack. It's slow, but it goes all the way around, and then you land. And if it causes you to step back a little bit and then re-engage once they're done. But characters that are close, even if there's 3 to 4 characters around, it'll hit all 4 in spinning motion. They fan out, and like I said, if you're low on health, you will die. Another thing that's incredible about Anarchy Reigns that Bleeding Edge could steal from it with these characters. Once again, if you're a health character like Miko or Zero Cool, even like I said, some of the other damage dealers, you're dead if it's 2 or 3 characters, is that in Anarchy Reigns. So Jake Kuhn, if you see this, I'm not trying to steal your content. So I'm just showing you this for demonstration purposes or whatever. Not trying to get copyrighted or whatever. But if 2 characters are close, you could grab both of them and do incredible damage or kill them nearly instantly. And this character is called Gargoyle. You unlock him in the game. But this is the quickest one I can show you real quickly on how this works. So I'm going to play it so you guys can see. He grabs 2. And I'm pausing it here. There's one here and there's one there. And any character can do this. The skinniest little girl character can do this, as well as the biggest character in Anarchy Reigns. Every single character can do this. Grab two people by their head and then does this. And mind you, it's different for each character. Splat. And they're dead. You know. Bow. you know, on and on and on. And I'll go back just a little bit to show you again how that works. So imagine, grab those two, throw them down. So that would stop immediately. If people started dying from rushing in, like, oh, we're just going to go in and kill this one person. If they come in and they lose 50% of their life, or even both die, now it turns into actual strategy. This is something Bleeding Edge needs to do for all the characters. It makes every character scary and their worth it being dangerous. Because right now there are certain characters I'm not scared of or anything like that. You only get scared when there's two characters because there's nothing you can do. All right, the next thing with Anarchy Reigns that it has is that, believe it or not, if you still have your 360, definitely get this game if you are liking Bleeding Edge or dissatisfied. It had deathmatch, battle royale, cage match by itself. It had survival, team deathmatch, team battle, tag death match, and tag battle. Capture the flag, three team capture the flag, death ball, on and on and on. And the funny thing is, all of these modes I can play with the CPU, and I still do. Lots of modes and gameplay, lots of other things that I didn't even tell you about. Is that in these games, there are weapons that you can pick up, and that's the difference also with something like Bleeding Edge. Is that everybody can? There are guns. There are rocket launchers. There are other weapons that you can pick up and use as weapons. Once the ammo is gone, that's it. It's gone. You can't use it again. But it does turn the fact that that is not a single character in Anarchy Reigns that uses a gun. But you can pick up a gun and you can take out characters. Finally, Bleeding Edge, I believe, is online only. It's trying to be an Overwatch clone. It's doing all these different things, and they're going to announce, characters and things like that. In fact, let's go back to the fighters page real quickly. They already have the mystery, like, what's the next character going to be, But Anarchy Reigns, they had a campaign mode, which was amazing because, get this, one incident to two sides of the story. And I believe you had 25 missions over here and 25 missions over here. And yes, there's some overlap, but there's some enemy types and characters that you do not fight in each other mode. For example, if you're Jack, you have this fight with Matilda, and if you're Leo, you fight this character called Oinky, who turns into this giant lizard Hulk-like beast who's just amazing. So she's more quick and fast and things like that, and uses a mace. He's more of a wrestler type, and then can turn into like this giant lizard reptile character. Actually, it's more like Killer Croc from Batman, if you know that character. He turns into that. So you do have a different experience in that, and you unlock characters. And get this, in the story mode, you have all of these game types. You have some of these modes in there, meaning you have to survive. You team up with people. You have to capture something. On and on and on. There's so many enemy types, and I'll do a separate video for Anarchy Reigns. But the last thing I'm going to add with Bleeding Edge, and I'll wrap this up, is that I'm deeply disappointed. I am not going to pre-order this game because I think at its core, it's just fundamentally not going to work. And it disheartens me to say that because I was excited. The biggest thing, though, is I really dislike. Look at this character. He just looks, to me, stupid. It doesn't look interesting. I don't like the character designs. The tropes that they use for these characters looks it's try hard. That's the best way I can say. And trying way too hard. And I don't even know what kind of tone they are trying to go for. Are they trying to be edgy? Is it trying to be slapstick, stupid, and goofy? Are you trying to be I don't know what you're trying to be, but whatever it is, I think you're failing on both things. Are you trying to be a first person shooter? Well, you're not trying to be first person shooter, even though you got some characters that shoot. And trust me, that's probably one of the best characters to be because you could just stand back and let people fight, and then you just finish them off. Um, the mods are going to, as they probably increase, I think they take away from skill. I like skill based versus stats based. You know, if you're one of those people who like stats, this is a good game for you because if you don't have any skill, you can let your stats do the work for you. Like you have better defense and better damage. Because even in Overwatch, yes, you're fighting against a tank and you can die. There is sometimes a chance you can either run away, leave, and come back to them, which you can kind of do in Bleeding Edge, but it doesn't work as well as it does in Overwatch. But still, I've been one of the weaker characters in Overwatch, and I've taken out a Roadhog and things like that. Uh, to say that so far in this beta, I think Battleborn is better than this. Definitely Paladins is better than this. So if you're going to pick another one, I would, like I said, pick Battleborn. I would pick Paladins, and of course, Overwatch is better. And if you do want an actual melee fighting with different fighting techniques, grapples, weapons, enemy types, a single player game, and I'm going to do a video for that later, how it's just incredibly underrated, and I would love a sequel for it. Is Anarchy Reigns. If you have a 360, pick that up. So anyway, thanks for checking this out. This is Rasuke.